Okay, so you guys are welcome, and today this is Darko Lab, and today we are looking at mastering Python. And in our series or sessions of mastering Python, we are looking at classes and objects. We've looked at object-oriented programming concepts in terms of abstraction, in terms of encapsulation, inheritance, the object-oriented itself, the polymorphism, and today we are looking at what we called magic methods and operator overloading. So we will first look at magic methods, then the next one we look into operator overloading. And once we are done with this, you should have a clear idea, a clear understanding, and a clear concept when it comes to object-oriented programming in Python. Okay. So what we are going to do is, I'll first, as usual, I'll create my notebook. Okay. So let me create a notebook here. So I'll call it magic methods, okay, underscore operator underscore overloading, so that we have the two .ipynb. We are good, right? So now I have my magic methods underscore operator underscore overloading and all that. That's fine. How you name it is good. You are good to go. Don't forget to select your kernel, right? And currently our virtual environment is VMV. So virtual environment, that's why we define it. So we select it, and so that we can be able to run our code efficiently. All right, because when you come here and you just say A is equal to 10, A is equal to 10, print A, we should get 10, right? So it means our virtual environment is running perfectly, and we can move ahead or go ahead and then work on today's session. All right, so let me add a markdown so we can understand what we are going to do today. So basically what we are going to do is called magic methods. Please don't forget to interrupt me if you have any question. We are good and we are all aligned on what we are learning. It's a learning process, so you ask a question, I also ask you a question, and it makes it more interactive. Then we move. So what we are looking at is what we call magic methods, right? And with magic methods, we are saying that, let me first define so we guys can go ahead and explain. So magic methods in Python, okay? In Python, also known, please kindly mute yourself for me so that, because I'm recording, and if you have any question, you just let me know. So that, also known as, we call it dunder methods, okay? So dunder methods simply means double underscore methods. So get that in your mind. It's very simple to capture this in your mind, right, guys? So double underscore methods, okay? So that's what basically we call it, dunder methods, okay? So it tells you that all the magic methods have what? Double underscore. And I'm going to ask you guys one question. Okay, before I proceed, don't worry, I'll ask you guys one question before I proceed. Yes, is there any question? Can you mute yourself? Yes, thank you. If you have a question, you type it in the chat section. I'll see it, and then I'll pause so you come up with your question. All right. So magic methods in Python, also known as dunder methods, double underscore methods, basically is telling you that anything that comes with double underscore is a magic method. Okay, so so they are what a special, how do I put this for you guys, a special methods that starts, okay, that start. So today, whenever we don't understand anything, we are going to use the GPT right here, and then I will explain certain things for you guys with the help of GPT. So you're good to go. So as special methods that start, how do I put it? That starts and end with double underscores. Okay. So it starts and ends with double underscores. And we have, let me do it this way. Yep. So let's say magic methods. No, so let me So these methods, okay, these methods enable you, the developer, okay, you to define the behavior, okay. It enables you to define the behavior of objects for built-in operations, such as arithmetic. Yeah, I think arithmetic is good. Such as arithmetic operations, comma, and what else? Comparisons, comma, and even more. Okay, let me just end it here. And more. Another one is they are predefined. Okay, they are predefined methods in Python. So take note of this. They are predefined methods in Python that you can override. Okay, you can override to basically what? Change the behavior. To change the behavior of your what? Objects. Okay. So now what I'm saying here is that, let me do this. Good. What I'm saying here is that we have something we call magic methods. Okay. And we have something here we call magic methods. Okay. Magic methods in Python, also known as dunder methods, double underscore methods, are special methods that start and end with double underscores. These methods enable you to define. So these methods enable you to define, right, the behavior of objects for built-in operations such as arithmetic operations, comparisons, and more. Okay. Now, they are predefined methods in Python that you can override to change the behavior of your objects. Now, if I say, let me delete this code, right? If I do something like this, underscore init underscore, is this a magic method or not? Yes. Can someone unmute and let me know? Is this a magic method?
Yes, a constructor.
Is it a magic method?
And yes, it's a magic method. Yes, I think
okay.
So. Because double. Yeah.
Good. So it tells you that even our constructor is a magic method. And what does it do? It basically initializes what? A new instance of a class, isn't it? And that makes it a constructor. So what it does is that it initializes a new instance of a class. You get a concept here, guys? So this becomes even a magic method, and at the same time, an instance of a class, and it being what? A constructor. Okay, so that's why we are saying that they are predefined methods in Python that you can override to change the behavior of your object. These methods enable you to define the behavior of objects for built-in operations, blah blah blah. They are also known as what? Dunder methods, double underscore methods. So any double underscore methods you used in your program, this becomes what? A magic method. So now how do we see these things? So let me do something like this. Let me make it a docstring so we can, should I even make it a docstring? No, let me use 3. Yep, the same thing. So inside here, let me do something like this for you guys. Okay, so now what I want you guys to know is I'm going to list some aspect of magic methods that we can have an example on it to apply, how we can apply these magic methods. All right, there are so many, and you know where to find them. You just need to go to W3 School, right? Once you go to W3 School, right? So you just Google W3 School. When you go to W3 School, accept, come here, look for Python, right? When you look for Python, try to understand all You scroll down, where is it? Scroll down, it should be down, right? So built-in functions, built-in methods. So you can look at all these methods. These are exceptions. So we look at exceptions. How sometimes W3 School, they set their things, but I think it should be somewhere here. It should be within this, either this or this. No, so I think it should be the string one. Yep, because they are basically strings. So let me come here for you. So you should check on the string one. I think it should be the string. So let me come here. It should be this one, definitely. Let's see. Okay, I'm not seeing it here. So sometimes how they arrange it, but basically we can also, since now we have our codex here, let's say list some of the list more examples of magic methods we have in Python aside in Python. So let's go ahead. So yeah, let's see how it gives us. So you see, so guys, good. So you see this, then some additional magic methods you will see in Python. So you see this is there, you see this is there, this is the string aspect, this is the byte for display conversion. You see, this is the length aspect, this is the length hint boolean, okay, for sizing, truthiness, iteration, next, reverse, contains, get item, set item, delete item, missing item. You see, so all these things: add, subtract, multiply, math multiplication through division, floor division, like you see, mode, power, plus their right hand. You see, so all these things are already predefined magic methods in Python. You see, so the whole concept is I will not be able to do so many examples for all these things for you guys. You understand? So my goal for you is that I'll do more. I'll do about, let's say, I'll be able to do more here today. But try your best to also look into more examples with these aspects. You understand? So you know all these aspects, and when you are I always tell you guys, these are more like libraries. When you are working on a project, you can reference it. That's why even when I'm teaching you guys here, I'm trying to reference them. You understand? So these things is not something you need to chew, but it's something you need to know how you can apply them whenever you need them. You get it? So that's what you need to understand. And all these things are here for you. So you see? So now what I need to do is, let me go here so you guys don't focus on that. So what we need to understand is that, so let me do this one. Good. So what we need to understand is that when we come here, let's some few, okay? So I can do some example on it. So basically we have the underscore in it, right? Underscore. You see? So this one, so you see that this one will help you. This is basically what initializes. So this one initializes what? A new instance, isn't it? A new instance of a class. You see? And we have another one, which is this one, underscore str underscore, okay? And this one basically what? Returns a string, okay? So it returns a string representation, okay? A string representation of an object. All right? So you see, when I listed these things here, when I told Codex to list these things for me, you see, it was able to list so many. And even when we went to our W3 school, we could also see so many things there, right? So what we are looking at is init, string. I'm looking at the key ones that will help you guys. Let's say REPR. Sorry, I didn't bring the underscore repr underscore. All right, and this one basically also returns an official string. Okay, it returns an official string representation of an object. Yep. So it returns an object representation of an object, and then let's look at another one, length. Okay, underscore length underscore, right? And this basically does what? And this basically does what? It returns the length, okay, of an object. All right. So we have so many. The get item gets an item from a container. The set item sets an item in the container when you saw it here, right? So you see that okay, it's even here now for us. So you see we have the set item, get item, and all that. So set item, get item, where is it? So we have the set item, get item. I saw it somewhere here. Yes, set item, get item. So this is basically, it helps us to get an item from a container. We set an item in a container and all that. Okay. All right. So let's look at something. So let's look at an example. Okay. So this was just basically an example of how you should be able to know these things. So try your best to learn about these things, learn about it, but don't chew it. Just learn about it, read about it, so that when you are working on a project or a program, or you have any coding interview, you can quickly let them know you are referencing a particular library, and you'll be good to go. Okay. All right. You referencing a library doesn't mean you are cheating. And every coding interview, they allow that. You just have to tell them. You just have to talk to them. Can I reference this Python library? They will say yes. Then you quickly reference it on the web. Then you continue. That's how it works. So you don't need to chew it, but you need to know how we apply it. So let's look at how we can apply it. Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, when you say reference, for example, the way you open it in your VS Code, like that codec, can we have something like that during the interview and say we want to reference the library?
Like this ChatGPT?
Yes. The way you have that extension there, can we have that?
No, in coding interview, no one will allow you to use ChatGPT. You understand? So the only thing is, when you talk to them, you want to reference something. Basically, what you do is you open a browser like this, right? Right. Okay. Then you come here. Then you say Python magic methods, right? So once you click on it like this, you accept. Then quickly you look at it. You see? Okay. So if you want to be specific, you can be specific. Let's say str, right? So once you click on it, okay, str. So you see, then you're able to understand that, okay, you define a class like this with str, and you want to use str. So you see, def underscore rpr and def underscore str. So once you know this, of course, there's no way this is how you are going to solve the problem they are giving to you. You understand? But the moment you reference a magic method like this, then it shows them that, okay, you are able to even reference libraries. So once you do something like this, then you close it. Then you come back to the code. Then now you work. You understand?
Okay.
Yes, that's how it. But don't go and even the coding interview, they are using their own they will present you with where you code and everything, so you will not even have that kind of flexibility to integrate or any extension of ChatGPT or any other thing. You understand? So so that's how it works. So on your side, because you will share your screen, you just open your browser like how I quickly did here, and on the screen they will see that you've opened a browser, and then you reference the library. They'll be watching you. You understand? You don't copy anything. It's just a reference. Based on that, you close it like this, or you can minimize it like this. Then you start coding. That's how we do it. Coding interview. When you join, you go to Meta coding interview. Any company, whether big or small, you need to talk to them. You need to communicate. Can I reference this? Can I reference that? They will say yes. Okay. So that's not an issue in Canada and US here. Maybe I don't know of UK. All right.
Hello
So
there.
yeah, go ahead.
So what about is it auto complete or auto correct or something like that?
Auto what? What I'm saying is that what you need to understand is that you can't use any other platform to during coding interview. Okay. All right. What you need is
No, I mean on the VS Code. Like when you are doing some coding, sometimes the
that's
Python
Copilot.
does
Is
some auto.
That's Copilot. That one is different. And that one, bear in mind, on interview stage, is they will present you with where you will code. You are not going to get these kind of all these things. You understand? Okay. So they are going to present you with a platform that you will be coding on. And with that platform, they have done their settings and everything. So you don't do anything. All you need is either you click on a browser to reference something, or you are coding. And all your comments and everything goes on that particular IDE they've presented to you. Okay. So you don't do anything like going to Copilot. Don't do that. Even you will not get that to even do. So don't worry. You will not get Copilot, or even like how I've integrated a ChatGPT extension of Codex here. Like how I can, when I'm working, I use these things to reference. Sometimes you don't have to worry yourself writing some sentences. You just give it to it. It gives to you, structure it well, so you look more professional. That's why I always tell you, ChatGPT is to assist you and not to reduce your reasoning. Okay. So these things that you are seeing, you will not get that flexibility when you are during your coding stage or your coding interview. But what you can get is when you are coding like this, you can reference with a web. So you just let them know that you want to reference something. If they allow you, you are good to go. If they don't allow you, then you have to continue coding. All right. So let's continue. So we don't go out of scope, right? So let's have a simple example. So let's say class person, right? So we have class person, okay? It's just a normal thing. So let's just pass. We don't want anything. Let's create our object. Let's say we want an object to be person, right? And inside we connect to the person class. Now, if I come here and I say directory, we know these things, guys. You remember all these things. And I say directory person, and I run this, right? You will see that with my class person and blah blah blah, you see all these things are what we are saying that they are called what? Magic methods. And if you guys remember when we were learning so many things, private in terms of encapsulation, when we look at private attributes and protected and all that, you saw how I was showing you where protected belongs, where public belongs, and where private belongs. And it tells you that once these things are created or defined and it comes here, these things becomes magic methods. All right. So you can see so many magic methods here. You see, with the help of this, just this that I define here, and I wanted a directory of the person object, and I can get all these things. So it tells you that these are all predefined. And currently we have one here which we can set. We see the string. We see the init. Where is it? Init. Okay, this is the init, right? We have so many things. You have all these things. Once it's underscore, blah, 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 underscore, then it is a magic method, and it defines the behavior of the object for built-in operations. So you see, this is the object person, and you see I wanted the directory of the object. So the behavior of this object is all this, you see, and you can set all these things, define them as your instance methods, and you can use it with your program. Okay, so let's say we want to print. So let's print the object, which is person, right? So let's print. So you see, this is just the main person object. So this is what we see, right? So basically isn't what we want to be seeing, right? We want to be able to get some kind of things like the string, what is the person doing, who is the person, and all these things. So when it comes to these magic methods, we need to have some basic methods that we need to define, and these are what we call like trying to maybe define your string magic method, trying to, let's say, define your RPR, which is basically returning an official string representation of the object, right? So let's look at a simple example for these two and see, because you guys already know the init, right? And length is basically returning the length of the object. So let's look at that too and see how we can use magic method to do this thing, right? Okay, so let's say, for instance, I want to have some basic method. All right, some basic methods. So now I can say class, the same thing, class person. Now with this class person, we first define our constructor, isn't it? Underscore init underscore. Then inside our constructor, what do we pass? Always don't forget yourself. And now let's person can have what? A name and age. So let's say name, comma, age. Let's just use these two attributes, okay? So we can make our argument correct. So now what we did here, now I don't want to be explaining these things, right? So this is a constructor, and with the constructor, we have our init, which is a magic method, and with this magic method, we define ourselves, and then based on ourselves, so we can be able to get each instance attributes, and these instance attributes are basically the name and then the age, which is called parameters. And all these things makes an argument for this instance method, which is an instance and a constructor of this class. Now we come back here. What do? We say self dot what? Name equals name, right? We say self dot age equals age, right? Now what we need to do is we want to create an object that we can get the data and everything. So let's say so object, I need to come out of the class. So I would say person, right? So person is equal to, which is a class of what? A person, into bracket. All these things you guys know. I just want to make sure you are clear on this before I go to the magic method. So person is equal to person. Let's just pass some string. So what do we pass? Oh, sorry. So let's say Sami, right? And comma Sami, your age is, let's say, 45. Okay. Now we've passed Sami age 45, right? What do? Let's print the person, which is Sami, right? So person. So you guys know this thing, isn't it? You know this thing. But you see, because of we are printing the object, you see what we are getting? We are getting the object. And this is not what we want. This is currently in memory. We don't need this. This is not what we want to see, isn't it? This is not what we want to see, guys, right? So basically what we need is that we need to use a magic method, we need to use a magic method that can help us get this data, this string. Okay, so this data. So how do we get it? From the person object. That is why we said here that where is it? I define it here. Yep. Enable you to define the behavior of objects for built-in operations such as arithmetic, comparison, and more. So it could be anything, but it enables you to get the object. And now our object is person, which is Sami, 45 years of age. But how do we get it? And once we run this, you guys are seeing we are getting this. This is in memory. We don't need this. We need the result of the person object, which is basically Sami, and its age is what? 45, right? So what we need to understand here is that how do we do this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this same thing code here, right? Come below it again, paste it here. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I don't need to change this. This is perfect. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I need to have a different what? I need to have another methods, and that methods is what we call what? The magic method. That will help me to be able to what? Return the person object what? Definitions, or the person object what? Results. Okay, or print the person's object, because when we use the print here, we are getting this, which is correct. This is correct programming, but we don't need this. We need the actual result. So we need to return the actual result of this person object. Okay. So when we come here, what I'm going to do is, so I'm not going to change this. Okay, I'm not going to change this. So all that I'm doing here is I'm going to add another instance method, or a magic, which is called a magic method. So I will say def. Okay. And what magic method are we going to use? We are going to use the underscore str underscore. Okay. And inside we don't have any attribute, so we just pass the self, and then we close this here. Then inside is a magic method. We just need to return. And what does it return? That is why it's key for you guys to understand each method. So I'm saying that this returns a string representation of an object. So basically it tells you that I'm just going to return the Samir's name, the person's name, and the age, and how old the person is, and all that, right? So when I come here, I will say return. So I'm going to say return, and basically I will just say self.name, right? So I'm going to return self.name, comma, right, self.age. You see, this is what in programming we will have been doing, but we want it to be more good. So that is why I will use what we call f string, like this, and then I will come and close the f string here. Then now inside each f string I will use the what do we call it, curly bracket, right guys? So curly bracket like this. Okay, then outside the comma, the same, the curly bracket, you see. Then inside here, the curly bracket like this, you see. Then now, because I'm inside the, I have an f string, I can add my sentences or my statement. I will say years old, you see. So it tells me that, okay, I'm returning the name of the person and also the age of the person, but I want it to be more structured. That is why I'm using the f string. Okay, and with the f string, I just, inside the string, I just need to pass my self attributes or parameters, and I'm good to go. All right, the same thing like this. We copy the same thing. You can code like this, the same thing like this. I paste this here. Instead of string, I am not going to use string. I'm going to use the REPR, which is a representation. Okay, RPEPR, sorry, EPR. Okay, now instead of that, here the same will return the f string, but inside the f string I am going to say the person. So let me clear all this. Good. So I'm going to return self.name. Okay, same here, comma, self.age. You see, but this time around, with the help of the f string like this, I am going to say that person. Okay, person, then I'll say name equals to what, this. Okay, it's just structuring. It's nothing. It's not anything. It's just structuring. Okay, so don't be confused. And then I'll bring my comma. Outside my comma, I will say age is equal to, okay, then the string comes in. Okay, come back here like this, then I'll close this string, right? Then I'll just close this like this. So you see, now I have class person, this constructor for me, and a class. I define some magic methods here. So this magic method will help us get a string, and this one will help us return what, the representation. So when you come here, you see that returns a string representation of an object, and the REPR, sorry, returns an official string representation of an object. The official string, which is this one. Okay, so these are the two. So basically, if I run this, okay, I should be able to get a good result. So I should be able to get Same 45 years old, and then I should also be able to get the person name, which is basically person name, Same, age 45. So let's see.
Hello, sir. After your RP arrow, you did not put the second underscore.
Okay, I didn't bring this thing. This one, right? The quotation mark. Yes, I didn't bring the quotation mark. And which underscore you talk?
No, the magic method for
Oh,
the
okay.
second.
Yeah, sure. Correct. That's good. It's good you notify it. All right. So let's go again. Yeah. So you see? So we are able to person is equal to, so this is the object person Simon 45. Now, if I print the person, I'll get this. But let's print to get the second one, which is this one. Currently, we got only this, right? So let's print the second one, which is the representation. So when I come here, I'll just say print into bracket REPR into bracket, because it's a method, right? We pass the person. You see, very simple. Okay, because this one is for this, and now this one is for the other one. This is the main one returning. This is also the main one. So once I run, I should get the person name Simon age 45. This is just a magic method that will help you to define and make sure that they enable you to define the behavior of the object for built-in operations, arithmetic operations, comparison, and more. We will look at arithmetic operations below, so don't worry. So this is basically how like magic methods are, and you need to be using these things depending on the problem or the project you are working on by just calling the name of the magic method, and then you can, if it returns, you return. If it doesn't return, it's just display. You display. You are good to go. You understand? And this help you in creating these kind of objects and all that. Okay, so with the help of this object, you set these magic methods and you are good to go. Yes.
So please, what's the difference between the RPR and the STR and the string?
Oh, it's here. I just mentioned it here. This is the difference. This returns a string representation of an object. Okay, and this returns an official string representation of an object, right? So basically, when you come here, so you see, this is the string representation, and this is the official. Like we want to know, okay, this is the person. Like, so it's just like it's representing this, but at the same time, it's more official when you use this than even this. You understand? Yeah, so it's just the same thing, just that in Python they want us to have some kind of string representations which are more official. That's why when you see Samin 45 years old, this is more official. Okay, the person's name is Samin, the age is 45. You understand? So depending on how you want to structure your program or your code, yeah, you can use the first one or you can use the second one. You understand? All right. So let's go to operator overloading. Okay. So the same thing, operator overloading, the same concept of magic methods, but with operator overloading. With operator overloading, okay. Operator overloading magic methods. So let me add it. Magic methods. Operator overloading magic method. This is basically the same magic methods we have. We can have underscore add underscore. So let me bring out some. So we can have underscore add underscore. Okay, and inside underscore add underscore we can add two numbers. So it could be, let's say, the self comma then the other. Okay, now this one has to check it well, guys, has two objects using the plus operator. Okay, and then the same thing like the subtraction, the multiplication. So if this one has the subtraction will be subtract two objects using the minus operator. You understand? The multiply. So the key thing is adder. Okay, so the key thing is adder, and adder basically means adder methods or any other thing. So when we say that underscore add self underscore or other, it means that we add two objects using the plus operator. So two objects is, this is one object and this is another object, and basically they become two different what parameters. Okay, so let's look at a simple example so you understand what I'm trying to say. So let's come here. Or let me even code it inside. No, let me just do it here. So let's say that we have some mathematical mathematical operation for, let's say, vectors. Okay, now let's say we have a class vector. Okay, so this class called vector. Now with this vector, let's define our constructor, init underscore into bracket, we say self comma other. Okay, so now sorry, I'm with this other too much, comma y. Okay, now we are saying that our constructor is self, and then this is the x coordinate, the y coordinate for the vector. Okay, now inside here we will just the same thing we already know, dot x is equal to x. Okay, self dot y is equal to y. Okay, this is common, we know now. Now let's define a function or a method. Okay, so so now our method is going to be the add, this add. Okay, so we are saying that def add underscore add, you see, underscore. Now inside this we are saying that we pass the self and the other. The other is what? The self and the other is this. Okay, and the other, so basically we are adding two objects using the plus operator. So now let's see how it's done. So basically when I come here, I will just return the vector. Okay, the vector, which is this class. Okay, so that I can get these ones. So the vector, so it's more like we are inheriting. Okay, so return vector into bracket. You see, so now when I'm returning this vector, what I'm doing is I'm basically inheriting everything this class has, which is a vector. Now inside this vector class, then I am adding this magic method. So when I come here, I need to just pass it. So I'll just say self dot x, isn't it? So self dot x, which is what? Plus other. So any x attribute, which is self dot x is equal to x. So I'm saying that self dot x plus the other. So the other is this one. Okay, so I'm saying that return the vector self dot x plus the other, comma, where is it? So return the self dot x plus other dot, what do? We say x. Okay, then now we bring the comma, we do the same thing for the y coordinate, self dot y, okay, plus other, right, dot y. Okay, so when we come here, now I'm just doing this for only the addition, then I'll add more to it, subtraction, multiplication, equal, and then representation. So let's just do this so you guys have a clear understanding before I add more complicated ones. So I'm saying that we define a magic method or an instance method or a function called add, self, other. So these are different attributes and parameters, right? We return the vector, which basically we are inheriting everything this instance method has for this class. Now self.x plus other.x, comma, self.y plus other.y. And basically what I said is that we are adding two objects using the plus operator. So this is one object and this is also another object, and with the help of this plus operator we are adding these two individual objects. Okay, so when I come here I can create my object. Okay, create objects. I can create my object and say that okay, so I can create my object of the vector class, so you understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'll just say, let's say vector 1. Okay, so this vector 1, I'm going to assign it to the vector class. Oh, why am I typing like this? Vector class. Inside, what do we pass? It accepts what? Two arguments, isn't it? x and y coordinates. So here, let's say we have 10 comma, let's say 9, right? So now if I come here and I print into bracket, how do we do it? How do I do it? So let me have another object. So let's say v2, okay? Inside v2, the same vector into bracket. Let's say I have 12 comma, let's say 5, okay? Now inside here I can say print v1, okay? We are adding, so v1 plus what? v2, okay? And this one, this should be able to what? Perform this object and also perform this object. So basically it performs this object and then performs this object, perform this object, perform this object. So let's see how it goes. Am I missing something? So we define a vector, okay? Okay, let me come out of this. All right, so we print v1 is equal to vector, okay, v2 is equal to vector, okay, vector object at this. We need to get a result, so print v1 plus v2. Okay, let me see. Then why am I getting? No, I need to get a good result. Okay, so I define this. So the vector is this one, comma. I think I'm making a mistake somewhere. Let me see. Self dot x plus other dot x, self dot y plus other dot y. Good. Now, okay, I need to use a representation. Yes, I forgot that one. So let me represent the string. That's why I'm not getting it. You guys remember, I just said it right now. So I need to add a representation, underscore repr, okay, underscore. Then let's pass the self here. We come out like this. So let's return. So basically we're going to return the self.x, right? Self.x comma self.y. Okay. So what I need to do is, let me use my f string. So I'll just do this here, and then I'll say vector, okay, like this. Then I'll come here, and then I'll do the same, comma. Then I'll come here, I'll do the same, and then I'll come here, I'll close it like this. Okay. All right. So now let me close the double quotes. Okay. So now I think we should get a result, because we are getting the result in memory currently. So let's run again. Good. So we are good to go. So you see, vector is what? 22. Vector is what? 14. So these are it has each individual object. So we see that 10 plus 10 is what? Sorry, 12. So I'm not getting. Yeah. So this plus this. So you see, 10 plus 12 is what? Exactly 22, and then 9 plus 5 is what? 14. So different objects. So this is one object, this is another object, and each object we add. Okay, we add, and that's why we are saying that print v1 plus v2, and we're able to get this. Okay, so basically this is how you can also perform with like mathematical operations for vectors. And with this, you can add more. You can add a subtraction, the same thing, you just change this instance method. So for instance, if I want to add subtraction, I just use the same thing. Okay, I don't change anything, the same thing, but here, instead of here, I'll use multiply. Okay, so sorry, subtraction, like this, you see. And instead of this plus, I'll use what? Minus. Okay, minus. Okay, here I'll use minus. Okay, and if I want to multiply, the same thing, I come here. If I want to multiply, the same thing. I paste it. I come here. Instead of add, I'll just move this one and I'll say multiply. Okay. And instead of plus, I'll use the multiply sign, the multiplication sign, right? And the same thing here, I'll use the multiplication. You see? And what else? Do we have any other one? So let's say if you want to use the same thing, but we want to make it let's say equal to. So let's say we want to see equal to. Equal to is this sorry, my lens. Equal, okay? And equal to, so here instead of the plus, you will say what? Equal to equal to. Instead of plus, you will say what? Equal to equal. These operators you guys know. You understand? And then do we have another one? I think it should be good now. So let's maintain this now. And then when I come here, because the first one was plus, I copy the same here. I come here. I can repeat for the remaining ones. So this one will be minus, right? And this one will be what? Multiplication, right? Okay. And then maybe, let's say I want to multiply V1 times, let's say V1 should be multiplied by, let's say 3. Okay. And then is there any other one? Equal to is basically equal to. So once we return, we don't get in it. So let's just run this. If I run this, I might get an error somewhere. Invalid syntax. Def more. Okay. Here. Multiply.
You have not closed the open brackets.
Which
brackets.
one?
Yeah. When they return.
Yep. That's true.
For all of them, for 3 of them, you have.
All of them, I didn't close it. Yeah, this one too, I didn't close it. I think I copied wrongly. All right, so let's run again. No, we are getting result, but we are getting integer object has no attribute x. Yeah, this one. So we should get an attribute x. So okay, the equal to, yes, equal to x, and so where is it? Equal to x is equal to x equal to other dot x comma and good here instead of the comma, and I need to use the end. So let's run again and see. Okay, so we are getting integer object has no attribute x. So we return vector self.x, self.y. So this is correct. We return vector return. Oh, okay. I'm returning the equal to. I don't need to return the vector because, so I just need to pass this, because if you return the vector, we are going to get an issue. So we return the self.x is equal to other.x and self.x is equal to this. Okay. And then for these ones, yes, multiply, subtract, we need to return the vector. So because finally we return the representation here. So let's run again. Okay, so we are getting attribute x. Okay, it's because of this. Print v1 times 3. Which one is v1? V1 is vector 2 comma, okay, vector 3 comma. Let me see something. All right. Okay, we get it. So the issue is from this one, but we need to get something correct. All right. So we return the vector, return vector self x dot y dot x. Okay. Integer object has no attribute x. So it means I'm passing some attribute somewhere. So this is other self. Okay.
So doesn't it mean like 3 doesn't have .y because you're passing 3?
Yes, I'm passing the 3 here.
And you're saying .1. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm trying to look for it. So it's supposed to be the multiplication. Where is it? Here. Okay, so I don't need to bring the y, so I can just make it self.y times other, because we are just multiply. So you guys understand? So if I put here times 3, then I don't need to return it, because I'm passing it already. Why? No, okay. So it's supposed to be dot y. Oh, where did I change this? Okay, y. So we return the vector self.x times other. So I don't need to return this. Okay, self.y times other. Yes, so we should be good now. Yes, we are good now. So now we get this one for the multiplication, because we don't need to, because I copied. That's why it's always not good to copy, because I copied and be pasting, so I needed to change these things. But if I was coding, I would have seen these things. So you see, so for the multiplication, because I'll be multiplying by a certain number here, I don't need to return the y. I don't need to add the y. So x self.x times other, and then self.y times other. So you don't need to say dot y again, no. Okay, or dot x again, which will make it basically good. All right, so this is how, like, in terms of overloading, like overriding or overloading these kind of operations for vectors in terms of magic methods, then basically, so once we have this concept here as two objects using the plus operator, so any operator you are using, you just basically know that we are going to work with two objects, okay, and you will be good to go. And I will add an example, practical example for this vector, so that you guys can work with it. It's more like a complex number, so you need to work with you need to define a class of complex number, and then based on that, let me start doing one here, then I'll put that on as exercise. So the exercise is going to be more like you define a class of complex number, okay, a class of complex number, and with this complex number you need to have a constructor. With your constructor, the attributes need to be real, and then also you have the image and everything. So based on this, you define so many. So based on the constructor, then you define so many magic methods, okay. Then you define so many magic methods. So the magic methods, you have the add, the subtract, the multiply, the true division, equal to. So you do all these things. I'll post the problem here, then you guys will work on the exercise as part of the notebook, then you should be good. Then I also add the main real world exercises I want you guys to do, which will be everything about the entire object-oriented programming, because we are done with object-oriented programming, and I would love if we will have a real-world case example, which I am going to set it as an let's say a project, okay. So it's going to be a project on object-oriented programming, and then tomorrow I expect each and every one of you to present it for me here, okay, before we move to our other section, which is basically going to be where is it? So we are done with classes and object, right? So our other session is going to be advanced Python concept. So tomorrow, once you guys are done with the presentation on the classes and object, then I will be able to teach the advanced Python concept for tomorrow as well. Then on Monday, we are starting the real world when it comes to data science. We are starting what we call the data analysis with Python. Because if you guys are able to do the real world case example project on mastering Python. Then when we dive into the AI, machine learning, data science aspect in terms of data analysis with Python, then I'll know you guys are good. And please, as I said, do not use ChatGPT to copy blindly. You can use it to assist you, like how we were doing here, but make sure you don't like let it do the work for you. I don't know if you get me. So make sure you understand the code, you understand the problem, you write the code and everything. Then based on that, you're able to understand each line of the code, have a clear understanding of everything, how you're applying these concepts and all that. Then you come and do the presentation for me to see. You understand? Then I'll know that, okay, what I've been teaching of all, because the rest of the Python that we taught earlier, they are all here. Functions, how you and variables, definitions. This becomes an object, and it's basically a variable holding this particular data. Everything, the print, how you define a function, classes, object, inheritance. Everything is all about object-oriented programming, and you guys will use everything on the project we are working on. So currently, our first project is going to be everything on what we have learned up to the object-oriented programming, so that when we dive into the data science aspect, I know that in the next projects that will be coming up will be basically focused on what data science aspect, okay, and AI aspect. So basically that is for today, and if you have any question, you can ask or you can type it and I'll read it for you. Let me stop recording. Thank you.